For those of you who don't know, the mission of the Clean Cities Coalition is basically to reduce the use of fossil petroleum in transportation. And because there's such a close association between the carbon content of fuel and the fact that it's fossil fuel, reducing carbon in fuel is basically the same thing as reducing fossil fuel. And so in order to help fleets move in the direction of making that possible, reducing the cost to fleets of making that transition is important. So part of what we're going to talk about, and part of the direction of what we're going to talk about today, is how you figure out how to get the maximum value out of making those carbon reductions. But before we get started on the agenda, and I think I'm going to make the first announcement by doing it myself, if you have your cell phone and you haven't already done something to put it on mute, or on vibrate, I mean, please do that so that, and if you have to take a call and make a call, please do it outside so that we aren't interrupting the presentation when we do it. Housekeeping, if you, the restrooms, if you go out the back door of this room and make a left turn and go all the way to the east wall of the building, that's where the restrooms are. And a couple of discussion items relative to the handouts before we get into the meat of the presentation. There's one of the handouts that was out front is this one. This has a list of upcoming workshops. I'd like to very briefly just review them. Next Wednesday is the Sacramento Altar on the west steps of the State Capitol building. There's a fleet presentation early morning, and then there's an open session between 11 and 2 where there'll be displays of ride cars. Next Thursday, there's the National Association of Fleet Administrators is sponsoring a electric transit bus workshop down in Modesto. On June the 12th and 13th, a very unique program that is run by PEMA, MEMA, and co-sponsored by the Clean Cities Coalition, actually run by Ernesto Martinez, who's over there, not ready to make an announcement right this minute. Just took a big bite of something. There's a card that was out front that has information about that on it. This is a very unique program where 2 days worth of training for municipal equipment or mixed fleet technicians, and this year there will also be an education block for fleet managers on sustainability and renewable strategies, as well as procurement strategy, group procurement strategies, and efficient fleet management programs or strategies. On the 26th of September, the Municipal Equipment Maintenance Association is holding a workshop down on the bay down in Brentwood, Paradise Island,
Discovery Bay.
Discovery Bay down near Brentwood on the Delta. Day on the Bay, and that'll be for fleet managers. Do you have a specific topic for that that's been published?
Not yet, but it's going to be pretty much what you described. That fleet management best practices with a focus on electrification.
So fleet management best practices, focus on electrification, and then we have our major conference in October at McClellan, where we will have 15th, 16th, and 17th. Is anybody here from Vanderbilt today? We have some folks here from Motive and from Control Dynamics, I know. We will have, I know Vanderbilt is planning on doing a half-day workshop and lunch on the first day of that. It's kind of move-in day for the vendors. Then on the 16th and 17th, we'll have sessions, all-day sessions and reception and whatnot. So that's this card that was out front. We're trying to set up on the 8th of August. It's not Jill yet, so I don't have it on the list. A heavy-duty workshop with heavy-duty vehicles, low emission, natural gas, and battery electric, which would include truck ride and drive, and presentations on reducing the cost of operating heavy duty. So that's sort of the background. Now we're going to kind of dig into the meat of the event. Right before we get to that point, though, I'm going to want to ask folks, maybe go around the room and get an idea of who all is here so that the folks doing the presentations will be able to recognize if they have something that should stress or not stress. Maybe we could start with,
And what fuels
oh, and what fuels you're using if you're a fleet manager, what fuels you're using. So maybe start over there. And before we jump in, I neglected to say, for the events that are here, the event, the training program on the 12th of June, 12th and 13th of June, the Day on the Bay event that is down in the Delta, and the event at McClellan. If you have technology that you would like fleet managers to be aware of, and you'd like to be able to display at those events, please let me know, because we're looking for folks to help us do a great presentation of technology at those events. So, now, jumping into the main topic of the day, you have two presenters who have a lot of background and information in two completely different areas related to how vehicle technology and fuel use could help reduce the cost, could have benefits for carbon reduction, could have value benefits. You can try a different microphone.
Yeah, it's really like that. I'm sorry.
People have trouble hearing.
It's just really staticky. You know how static? It's horrible. You can't really hear it up here. Try now.
Can you hear this one better?
Way better.
Oh, okay. Oh, let me go.
So you need to just hand that to these guys when they talk. I am not using this one.
Good.
Thank you, love.
I guess I'll hold it and hand it off. So, John Thornton with Clean Future has a long background working with fleet operators and helping them understand the metrics associated with figuring out what's going on in your fleet in terms of your current fleet mix, your fuel use, how to analyze and understand what that is, how to think about what you might be able to do as you move forward into a future where you get a different balance of vehicles and fuels, and then how you figure out what the value of the carbon content of the fuel and the vehicle technology that you're using, how you figure that out, and then what you can do with that. Rafe Porter, on the other hand, is looking at the land use side, which is an area that most fleet people don't think very much about. That is to say, as developers build things and rebuild things and want to expand, that causes traffic and use of vehicles to happen. And when that happens, because of certain laws in California especially, all kinds of triggers happen with people who need to figure out how to reduce those, or if they can't reduce them themselves, how they can work with other people to cause an offset that balances out so that the overall emissions that are produced by all the traffic that's induced with new development the emissions associated with that can be reduced. Rafe was with SACOG, the management, our regional MPO, Metropolitan Planning Organization. He was a senior planner working at, maybe didn't get the title quite right, but he was the guy I worked with extensively when I was at the Air District trying to work to figure out how to reduce the emissions associated with new development. So we're going to jump right in. We're going to start with John doing his part of the presentation. At some point, partway through this thing, we'll take a break so folks can kind of get a little something to eat and use the restroom, do a little networking, and then we'll jump back in and finish up. We'll have lunch right around noon.